Hey folks, Dave back here, Studio Beat, and we have another new game we're taking a look at today. I've been playing this one for a little while today, and I really like it. I do. This is Downey's Ultra Quick Basketball, and just setting up my chat here. Keep the bots out if I can. But this caught me by surprise. This game, okay, and I'm going to tell you why. So, as I just get my get my feed up here, they changed how they do things here on the phone, so I can monitor the chat. All right. So, this game caught me by surprise. This is one I picked up on the Thanksgiving sale, the Black Friday sale, and I was like, okay, let me check it out. And now most of their ultra quick games are kind of the same. You know, you have your offense and your defense, and you have a little adjustment. You roll the dice, you get your score. Okay, that's kind of how this one works too. But this is almost like two games in one. And because it's basketball, there is kind of a twist. Okay? And so let me show you here. So let me go to the, hopefully this looks good here. Okay. So there's two ways to play this. All right, as I go to my spreadsheet here. You can play quarter by quarter, or you can play quick play. And I'm going to show you both. And both are very fun. Okay, I'm really kind of happy with this. Some Roads leads there, stops by as we check out a new basketball game. Alrighty. So the game, I picked up the 80s decade. Okay, so you get your things here. Okay, and this is the teams. It has their wins, losses for the season, and then it has all their ratings. Okay, and the ratings are divided into offense, defense, home, and then offensive quick, defensive quick, and home court quick, okay? Because you got your quick play and you got your quarter by quarter, or quarter by quarter, as we say. So all your ratings are here on this page. For the quick play, what we do is, and I have it set up here, so we're going to have Boston at Philadelphia in the first game. So Boston's offense for the quick play is 114, and their defense is -8. And their home court for the quick play is 4. Okay, now obviously they're away, so their home court won't come into play, but I put all the ratings up there anyway. So let's set up the score sheet, shall we? So Boston's offense is 114. Philadelphia's offense is 116. The defense is -8. And ironically, the defense is -8. Now, the home court for Philadelphia does come into play because we're in Philadelphia. That is a 4. So right off the bat, it's a 6-point difference here for Philadelphia as their rating is 116, and then so they're 2 higher plus the 4 for the home court. So that's kind of our net points, if you will. Okay, or maybe it's gross. Then we take taxes away to give us our net, however you want to say it. As Doug stops by, says, play the game. Basketball is fun, too. Yeah, it is. It's a very different game, that's for sure. I think I have that as well. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. There is a scoring chart here that I'm going to be using. There's a regulation scoring chart, and then if need to be, an overtime scoring chart, okay? Now, again, to the best of my ability, this is how I interpreted the rules. We're going to roll the dice, so we have the ball roller here. Okay, and we're going to roll these dice over here. As you can see, we're going to spin them around and roll the dice. And that's, actually, you know something? I need 1 to 100. So I need to change this here. Hang on one second, folks. I need 1 to 100. So we're going to go base 10. I mean, a 10 with that and a 10 with that. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to be rolling 1 to 100. Alrighty, with the 00 being the 100, okay? So it's 1 to 100. So what we're going to do is roll for Boston first, and both teams roll off the same chart, okay? So let me roll the dice in. Higher is better. So I have an 87. That's really good. 87 says 6. So I put a 6 here for Boston, so their total is 112. Now, the chart does have negatives. Okay, the chart does have negatives, so this is not over by any means. So I'm going to roll the dice. 1 to 40 will be some kind of a negative. 41 to 60, there's no change. 61 and above, they get points. So That's how this kind of works in the chart. So we're going to roll here. So we have an 88, and an 88 is 6 points as well. And so in this game here, the final score of the quick play version is Philadelphia 118 and Boston 112. So that's kind of how that works. I find that kind of fun. It reminds me of the ultra quick football where you have the score and then you adjust it the same kind of way. Okay, I think it works a little bit better here in the basketball than it did with the football. Let's play another game. Alrighty. So now we're going to go to Phoenix, and it's going to be Houston at Phoenix. So let's set this up. So we're going to add our offense, and then our defense would be a -4, and then a -8. The home court advantage for Phoenix is 4. Okay, so right now Phoenix has, as you can see, it's a 4-point advantage, it looks like. Okay, and I had my spreadsheet do all the math, so hopefully my math is correct. So let's roll the dice and see what Houston does here. So they need to get some points. They need a nice high number. And a 69, giggity. That only gives them 1. That gives them 1, so their final score is 109. Alrighty. And now let's roll the dice for Phoenix. That's a 65. A 65, that's 1 as well. So our score is 113, 109, Phoenix. Now, just for ha-has, okay? Let's just say this chart total was 5, okay? So now we're tied. According to the rules, the home team adds 1 to start overtime, okay? So they'd get a 1-point bonus for overtime. And then you'd roll 1 to 100 on the OT chart, all right? So in our fictional game, we went to OT. And an 82 in OT is 4 points for Houston in the first overtime. And an 18 is, and they're only positives here in overtime, by the way. They're only positive. 18 is 4 as well. So I guess we're going to, oh, no, we wouldn't go to overtime, double overtime, because with this 1 point here gives them the 118, 117 win. I think that's kind of cool. As a casual basketball guy, I do like that. So that's the first way to play, is the quick play, okay, where you put in your scores, and then you kind of subtract if you need to or whatever. So I kind of like that. So now, let me just get my other charts out here. Make sure I have the, do I have the big game chart? I do have the big game chart, okay. Just in case I need the big game chart, which I'm hoping I won't need tonight. All righty, so now let's go to the other way of playing ultra quick basketball. It's quarter by quarter. And I need to change my dice here to 11 to 16. So I need to go back to my base 6. 11 to 66. All right, that should give me the 11 to 66 right here. Yep, okay. As David C. stops by. So quarter by quarter, it gets a little more complicated than your standard Downey games, especially because of the home court rating. All righty. And I'm going to show you the 3 different home court ratings and how it works out according to the directions, or how I interpret them, okay? So we're going to start off using our same sheet here, okay? Again, all the ratings for both quick play and quarter by quarter are on the same sheet. So I put in the ratings so you can see it. So Indiana is S, and the Knicks, ironically, are S, and both the -1 for defense. Now, this is kind of like your standard Downey game, where you have, the letters here, A through Z, and you add and subtract letters, which is not the easiest thing, by the way. So I've started it here. So Indiana offense is S. We subtract the 1 from the Knicks defense, and that gives us R. And the exact same thing for the Knicks. It's S -1 for the Indiana defense is R, okay? Now, where the home court advantage comes in is before the fourth quarter. And I've added a couple of extra things here to remind me what the ratings are. All right, so when it's a 1 and a 1 or a 0 and a 1, it's just the fourth quarter adjustment. So to remind myself, the second quarter is R, the third quarter is R, but here, in true Downey fashion, what we do for home court or home field advantage or home ice, whatever you will, we subtract 1 from the away team if it's a positive integer, and it is. So we subtract 1. So R is going to turn into Q. And for the home team, if the number on the left is a positive, we add 1 rating. So R turns into S. Now, that is just for the fourth quarter. So that's why I put in these little things to remind me that these are going to be my adjustments throughout the game. The only adjustment is the fourth quarter. All right, so let's roll the dice. So we have both teams will be rolling an R. So basically, higher score wins. So we're going to go to R on my chart. I rolled a 45, and a 45 is 30 points. That's a big first quarter for Indiana. 30 points. Okay? And now a 54. Ooh, that's even better. That's 33 points. So after one quarter, it's 33-33. In the second quarter, a 14. That's going to be bad. That's 24 points. So they get 24. And 54 again is 33 more points. So the Knicks are taking it to the Pacers 66-54 at the half. Okay. Dave Lando coming by as well. Yeah, we got 3 Daves in here. That's kind of cool. All right, so we start the third quarter again with these adjusted ratings. They're exactly the same. So let's roll the dice. Column R. 14 again at 24. So not a good roll there. And we got a 61. Holy cow, that's 30 points. Right? Yep, 30 points. If I'm doing this right. Again, I might be making mistakes in the chat. I'm just trying to show you how the game flows. Okay, so it's 96-78 going into the fourth. Now we look at our fourth quarter adjustments, and that's where the home court advantage comes in. Okay, so now the Knicks get a bump up, and the Pacers get a bump down. So let's roll the dice for the Pacers on Q now, column Q. Column Q, the 51, is 32 points. So their final score through regulation is 110. And now we roll for the Knicks on column S and a 41 on column S. It's a big game. So we'll play it out. Let's go to my big game. A BG could be big game or bad game. So we're going to roll the dice here on my modified chart. It's a 53. And a 53 is modifier A. Oh, that's pretty bad. So they go to the worst rolling column here. So they go all the way to the bottom. So this is a bad quarter for the Knicks. And this is where the Downey games kind of shine with these little wild cards. That's how the Spiders won some games. A 24. That's only 20 points. So where are we now? They still win it. So they still win it 116-110. So that's how the quarter by quarter plays out. That is just as fun. It really is. Now, here's where it gets nuts, okay? If I look at my directions here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 possible home court advantage ratings, okay? Most of them, anything with a 0 or a 1 are simple, okay? If it's a 0, there's no adjustment. If it's a 1 to the left, the home gets a bump. If it's 1 on the right, the away team subtracts 1. It's how all Downey games work, okay? Now, this next one here is an anomaly, if I said that correctly. When it's a -1-1, when it's a -1-1, that team is very bad at home. And this is the only time I've seen in a Downey game where you will add 1 for the visitor instead of subtract on a positive integer. So let me show you what we got. So again, here's our ratings, Q and N, -2, -1. So here's our adjusted ratings. So Q -1 is P, N -2 is L. So that's what for the first quarter is that. The second quarter will be the same, P and L. The third quarter the same, P and L. And again, only adjustments are in the fourth quarter. So this P that we started with will go up by 1 because Detroit is so bad at home. So that P turns into a Q. And the L gets a -1, and that L becomes a K, if you followed that. And that's spelled out here, by the way, in the directions, okay? Because usually a -1-1 is a -1-1, if you played any Downey games. Here in this case, they specifically say if it's a -1-1, the away team gets, you add 1 instead of subtract. I know, kind of confusing, but the directions spell it out very, very nice. All right, so let's play. So let's look at column P. for Washington, and we'll roll our dice. Oh, we got to make sure we got sixes. Do we have sixes? Yes, we do. Okay. So we roll our dice. Oh, why is my dice not showing up? Oh, we're not seeing my dice anymore. Oh. Where's my, what happened? What happened? You guys aren't seeing my ball roller. There we are. I don't know what happened. My ball roller disappeared. All right, so here we are. That was kind of strange. My ball roller, I just looked at my thing and my ball roller disappeared. So hopefully we're back now and the ball roller doesn't disappear. Hopefully. So let's roll the dice for the first quarter. That was weird. I had this all set up too. All right, so let's roll the dice. So we have a 46 on column P. That's going to give us 30 points. Okay. And now we're going to roll on column L for Detroit. 16. Oh, that's not good at all. It's 23 points. So after the first quarter, 30 to 23. Let's roll our dice on column P again. A 33. That's going to be a big game. So let's pull out my big game chart. Boy, we got a couple of those tonight, right? On the big game chart, a 25. Oh, another Davis. We got David C., David Lando, and David H., along with myself. Pretty crazy. A 25 is -4. Okay, so instead of P, we're rolling off of L for this one. Column L, 52. Column L is 26. And now let's roll off of column L for Detroit. And a 61. 25. All right, so at the half, 56-48 Washington. Let's go to the third. Again, we're still using P and L for our ratings. 56 is going to be 30 points. And then a 32 off of column L is 30 points as well. So, still a lead for Washington. So now we go to the fourth quarter, and this is where the adjustments kick in. The home court advantage kicks in, or disadvantage in this case. So again, we've bumped up Washington by 1, and we subtracted 1 from Detroit, which doesn't usually happen unless a team is really, really bad. And all you do is just roll off the appropriate column. So again, we're going to roll off a column Q this time, and a 54 gets us 32 points. And column K, which is not a good thing at all, is 22 points. And where are we now? Where are we? All right, so it's a Washington win, 118 to 100. And if you did go to overtime by chance, there is an overtime chart, okay? And you would use the fourth quarter. I believe it's the fourth quarter rule. Let me just double check here. Yeah, I think it said fourth quarter. So whatever the ratings are for the fourth quarter, big game, bad game. Let me just double check before I tell you the wrong things. If it's tied after the fourth quarter, it's going into overtime. Is simple. We take the fourth quarter adjustment ratings for the overtime chart. Yep. So it would be Q and K would be our ratings for overtime periods. Now, one more thing as Tom L stops by. There's one more thing to do here in the quarter by quarter. So if we go back here, the Knicks are home. They're a 1-1. That's typical Downey, addition to subtraction. Here is the anomaly for a bad home team, the -1-1. Okay? And again, in the fourth quarter, we subtract 1 from Detroit and add 1 to Washington, which we don't usually do. So now we're going to go to Boston. And it's Seattle-Boston. Now, Boston has a 2 and a 1. So here's how this works. So we've already done our adjustments here. We got P and S and -2 and -3. So we have M and Q as our ratings. That's going to be the first quarter. Now, because Boston has a 2, they get a bump up for the second and the fourth quarter. So Seattle will not change here. They will be an M. Boston goes from Q to R. Now, the third quarter, we go back to the original ratings. And that's why I actually added this here on the score sheet to remind me to go back. And then now we do our standard fourth quarter here. And now we would subtract 1 because, again, on the right side, that 1 is subtracted. So that M becomes an L. and Boston would get the bump up from Q to R again. So Boston gets 2 bump ups, one in the second and one in the fourth, and Seattle gets only the one in the fourth, if you follow that. So that's where the 2 and the 1 come in. And it's also reverse. If it's a 1 and a 2, then you'd subtract 2 from the visitors in the second and the fourth quarter. So that's our adjustments here. So let's play this one out. So we have M and Q. So Seattle rolling off of column M. And okay, good. My ball roll is still here. I don't know why my ball roller disappeared the last time. But here we go. So 62 is good. 62M is 24 points. So Seattle drops in 24 points. Now Boston from Q. 62 is very good from Q. And that's going to be 28 points. So Boston with a 28-24 lead after 1. So now we get our first adjustment for Boston. Okay, Seattle stays the same. M, 35, 21 points. Boston, we're going to call them R this time. R, 44, is 29 points. So at the half at the Garden, it's 57-45 Boston. And by the way, this is the 80-81 season that I'm using, in case anybody's wondering. So now the third quarter, we revert back to our original adjustment of M and Q. And this is not on the score sheet, by the way, but I added it so I know what the ratings are before each quarter, because it is a little confusing to me because I'm old. So let's go column M again. So we have a 61. Boy, they're getting some good rolls. That's a 27. Boston now with a 65. That might put it away on column Q. A 65 is going to be, well, that's strange. That's only 23 points. Usually if it goes up, but yeah, this chart is all over the place. So this is not your typical Downey chart where higher is better. It's kind of all over the place. Kind of neat, actually. Although I do like it. I do like it to be consistent. All right. So that was a nice little comeback in the third quarter. So let's go to the fourth quarter where we have our adjustments again. And now we take away 1 from Seattle to go down to L, and we bump Boston back 1 up 1 to R. All right, so here we go. As Tom L stops by, let's roll for Seattle. And we got a 14. That's not going to be good, I don't think. But then this chart is kind of strange. It's a weird chart. 21 points. All right, so Boston needs 13. So basically, as long as they don't roll anything crazy, they should win this. Column R, a 53 on column R. Uh-oh, that's a BG. Could be a big quarter or a bad quarter. Let's roll the dice. Does Boston choke at home here or not? A 15 minus 3. So we go from R and we go to O. So their adjustment is going to be O for this roll right here. O23 is 28 points, and I think that's going to give them the win. And it does. 108-93. So, yeah, I had to do the Supersonics. We had that discussion here on the channel. Me and ID didn't realize the Supersonics weren't playing anymore. Just so we don't follow basketball. So that's a first look at Ultra Quick Basketball. I was pleasantly surprised. I think I'm going to go back before the sale's over and grab a couple more decades. I only grabbed the 80s, but I might grab the 70s, and I might grab the 90s. Because I watched a little bit of the 90s with Jordan and stuff. So it might be kind of fun to play the playoffs. I don't know if they have any ABA stuff or not. That might be fun too. But anyway, so there's a couple ways to play it. So again, we go back here to our quick play, where you start off with a number and then go to the chart to either add to it or take away from it. And then you have the quarter by quarter, as we like to say, where it's kind of more typical Downey fashion, where you take a look at the ratings and look at the ratings chart and do it for each quarter to get the final score. I don't know which one I like better. I really don't. They're both really fun. They're both really easy. So anyway, so let me go back to Studio B here. So that is that. That's a look at Downey's Ultra Quick Basketball. I do enjoy it very much. I do enjoy it. And that's kind of how I like to play basketball, kind of more quick, because I was looking at some basketball games that people were playing, like the bank shot basketball and things like that, and I was watching, might have been Tom's, was it Tom's channel? somebody was doing a comparison with a couple of basketball games, and it's like, I still don't know if I want to go the play-by-play basketball route. So this is perfect for me, so I can get my basketball fix just by rolling off of charts and having quick play games. So I could definitely see myself playing some playoffs with this and having a good time with it. So anyway, all right, so I am Dave from Studio Beat. I might be back in a while later with another new game as we get some new games here on the channel. And, David says they have all the ABA. Oh, geez, now I got to go back and spend more money. I didn't want to spend any more money. I spent too much money this year. But I might go back because this is fun. It's funner than I thought. I always get the 80s to start with, and then from there I might work around that. But could be fun for some ABA. I'll have to go back and check on that. But anyway, so that, again, first look at Downey's Ultra Quick Basketball. I hope you like it. And maybe we'll see you a little bit later on tonight as I set up to take a look at another game here on the channel as we have some fun here in our Black Friday aftermath, if you will.